We coming through the front door. We might leave outside, kicking over furniture, shaking them up. Rob over there, I'm right here, and we got some things to talk about tonight, today, right now. All right, look, the hot topic. Travis Hunter for the Colorado Buffaloes gonna be out for 3 weeks. Now, the hit was uncalled for. Now, we know how football is. There was a lot going on with these teams from the coach saying what he needed to. So it was a lot of chippiness out there. The whole game as it started was getting real chippy. And I was afraid of something like this more so was thinking more of Shedeur, somebody coming late and hitting him. And I didn't even think about Travis or anybody else getting hurt. But, man, the late hit, and it just it was uncalled for, and it says a lot about what the coach and what he talking about and what he promoting. I didn't like how it happened. It was upsetting, so much so that on the other side we seeing the young fella getting death threats, him and his family. If Rob, what's the kid name that hit him?
I think it was number 11, man.
Yeah, number 11. I forget his name. We'll check it out.
Yeah,
but he hit him, and we don't like to see that. And I like the chippiness sometimes. I like the aggressiveness, but for him to hit him like that, and now he out for 3 weeks. Really important games too. Oregon, USC, and Arizona State, and the first. Oregon ranked 10 and USC ranked number 5. Real big games. So as they always say in football, next man up. So we gonna see how that all work out. And we hoping and we are praying for Travis. And we all gonna wanna see them sidelines and everything buzzing. They're gonna be in Oregon though, and they're coming back to Colorado for USC. And then they're gonna head on to Oregon State. Yeah, I was talking to my wife. We got to get that merch going too. I got to get that merch.
Yeah, man, I got to get me some merch too, man. You know, I definitely support Deion, man. But listen, if you went to sleep on that game, you know, because you got a lot of people that were like, man, shit, the game was over. You know what I'm saying? They was like, the game over, right? Yeah. But shit, man, hey, I couldn't help it, man. I stayed up the whole game and like the double overtime, and you can see the composure on these kids, man. You know what I'm saying? You could really see the composure. They stayed with it. They, you know, you could tell that they are a very well coached team, man, because they didn't let their emotions get the best of them. Other than Shedeur, he did go and check Buddy when he hit. When that hit happened, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He did check him.
Yeah, he checked him. So you know,
which is you don't hardly see a quarterback go to the defense of a receiver like that. You don't see that. I mean, so much so where he stepped right up to him on any level. That was real good. So that shows how close they are too. Yeah, it really does, and you could appreciate their relationship, and the way Deion got them going, and how everybody works together, the staff, the kids, all the way down to the students. So he got something good going there, and as long as he can stay in that sense, and I'm really glad everything with his health has leveled out. So he can focus on that. He still has to have all those massages and all those treatments to keep the pain down. He do a lot of stuff for maintenance, but he keep it covered up well, man. You can pray for him as much as you can, man. He gonna need all that for his own health and for the family and for all that, because it's gonna be tough. He got a tough road ahead in all aspects. So.
Yeah, but talk about that head coach, man, taking a shot at Deion mom, man. You know, I mean that's you know, I can understand where he, you know, where Coach Prime is coming, you know, where he coming from. Because, you know, you got to pay attention to those little small things. You know, it was subtle.
It was indirect. Yeah.
Indirect. Yeah, it was indirect, but, you know, and, you know, you could tell how those kids played, you know, they played for Deion, man. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just say this, you know, because that's been something that plagued our community. Well, for generations, where we come at another brother or another person that is trying to improve himself, do his best. We have a hard time supporting that with regardless of what we got going on in our lives. You know, like I like what Deion said. He said, "Look, my blessings don't have anything to do with his blessings. I wish him the best. I want everything to go well for him."
Yeah.
But a lot of times throughout our history, going all the way back to our time after Africa, after Africa, when everything came to the shores of America, you could look at that differently, and you could look at a lot of different things about it. But once here and the plantations and the different things started, and slavery actually was in full swing, and we suffered a lot from how those different treatments and the psychological warfare that was going on between our own people. And we still have a lot of those traits in how we are dealing with each other now. I say all that to just say it's a psychological problem where we take shots at brothers instead of, we have to have known a brother so much and be so involved with a brother in our lives so we don't talk about another brother. But it shouldn't matter if I know you or not. I should be all for what you're trying to do, because we have a connection. But some brothers and some people don't see it that way. So I always disliked that, and I always thought that was always a problem, that we couldn't support a brother if we don't know him and care about him, and we need to do if this can improve, that needs to improve immediately. And this brother didn't even have a reason to say that. All he had to do was do his interview, do his thing. He didn't have to say anything about taking no hats off or nothing. And you can't get baited in by the media asking you something about another brother, about somebody else doing something, even if he's a white man. But we got to come away from doing this to each other, and that's going to be something that we probably work on till the end of time, and that's going to be something that's going to be very difficult, and it's been difficult because this brother ain't had to indirectly talk about him, his upbringing and his raising. He don't even know Deion. He just heard about him, but he's seen him. He don't know him personally. But indirectly to talk about his mother and how he was raised in just one comment, and that's uncalled for. All he had to do was do his interview, and I hate to see us do that to each other. But we got to get better with that. That's why I'm so supportive of what you're doing and what we're trying to do here. And this, we got a lot of stuff going on, but we got to support each other in everything that we try to do. Nobody don't need to come to me and ask me stuff and try to bait me into talking about what we got going on, about what Rob is and who he is. We got to stop that mess.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, man. It is what it is. You know, I look at these things as an individual basis, right? I try and treat people as an individual, I mean, if that makes sense, but I don't spend too much time worrying about, how somebody gonna treat me or whatever the case may be. I try to spend as much time, the people that's good with me, whether you black, white, purple, whatever the color of your skin is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I that's how I look at it, but that's just if that makes sense, that's just my little personal,
I know what you mean.
Personal thing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we gonna you good to us. You take you
Yeah.
you don't mistreat me. I don't mistreat you.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't have to have not. You could have been cool with me or not. I still should be able to know how to treat you and how to handle you when it comes to other people. I don't need to be saying nothing negative about nobody, whether we like each other or not, or what's going on. But it's just something that's going to be an ongoing thing between humans. I mean, not just us.
Yeah, man. That's just it, man.
So everything goes out to. And when Deion was at Jackson State, he faced a lot of flack from all those other coaches in the SWAC. They didn't want to talk to him about nothing. He was trying to help everybody improve their programs, everything they got going on. Nobody wanted to accept what he was trying to do. Everybody had something to say.
Yeah,
and that's very unfortunate. And since we're talking about college football again, and which this is going to be the whole season, probably as long as Deion is there. Some of the things that we wanted to talk about tonight, how how important is college? How important is it? What you think?
I mean, here's my perspective on it, right? You have to, how I feel about a situation, right? When it comes down to college. I feel as though that, because I got to be selective in what I say here. Okay, college is not for everybody, right? That's one. Two is, I really don't agree with the whole concept, because you have a lot of people that go to college, put a lot of money into college, right? And they do not work in the field that they went to college for, right? So to me, that just don't make sense, flat out, period. Because now you have a lot of debt that you're paying for. You understand? So, and then, with the internet and all the information that's floating around on the internet, I like to say YouTube University, right? It's a lot of things that, well, actually this generation now, you have a lot of millionaires, a lot of these young kids now that's not going to college, that's making millions of dollars. You understand? So, now certain trades, of course, like doctors, lawyers, you have to go to school for those trades. You know what I mean? But if I had to give some advice, I would say, when it comes down to going to college, basically just make sure whatever trade or whatever that you're studying, make sure that's going to be something that you work in, that you can use that actual degree. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's certain degrees that, like, I give you an example, like a marketing degree. You understand what I'm saying? To me, I mean, what is that?
Yeah.
Useless. You can, with the internet, in terms of marketing, you can do all of that. You understand what I'm saying? You can learn that and do it, make money, start a marketing agency, and just do everything digital marketing. So that's just how I feel about college. That was a long, drawn out statement, man. But that's just how I feel about it.
When you said do something that you can make a living off of, and that's the big thing about how college can be effective. When a long time ago, when they, when all this was instituted and colleges came about, where people started to go to these institutions to start to learn. Before all that happened, I started looking up some stuff because, my times back in the ministry, I learned a lot about education. And before the modern day setup of a university, true education had to involve the understanding of God.
Right.
So if you're going to if you're going to get education, the universities of today, that's not where you can go and get a true education. I call the universities of today job placement, because you have to go there to get get yourself set up so you can take care of your family once you get out of high school. So now you can go all these different routes. You can be a plumber. You could be a landscaper. It's a lot of different fields you can go through. You can do you can set up your own type business where you can sell food. There's a lot of things you can do to try to make a living. But if you want to really set yourself up to have a career, you want to consider the arts. You want to consider the math, science, and engineering. You want to consider stuff that you can really leave college and make a good living for yourself and start to pay back some of the debt you're going to incur to go, of course, the medical field, as you mentioned. So I don't look at colleges of today as institutions of true education, because that has to include God. When I start to look at all these definitions in Webster and in what they say, they define education. It is the development of the abilities of the mind. Another definition is the transmission of knowledge, skills, and character traits. And you can get that from university. But the best definition I found about education, which none of these universities of today qualify for. You have to go back hundreds of years to find a university that this definition that I'm going to read. And this is from a book called Education, and the author is Ellen G. White. You can find it all over the internet. But I like what was defined here when you talk about true education. It says true education means more than the pursuit of a certain course of study. It means more than a preparation for the life that now is. It has to do with the whole being and with the whole period of existence possible to man. It is the harmonious development of the physical, the mental, and the spiritual powers. It prepares the student for the joy of service in this world and for the higher joy of a wider service in the world to come. No university in modern America or in this country prepares a student for nothing what I read just now. That was the best definition of education that you can find on the internet. So when you look at the universities, it's important to go to those colleges if you want to find and place yourself in a good job. But to become an entire total person, spiritually, physically, and mentally, you're gonna have to go another route. Hey, pay the man, Rob.
Big Cuts Barbershop. Appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Open 7 days a week. Take advantage of the special promotion we have going on. $25 haircuts from Monday through Wednesday. Yep, you heard right. $25 haircuts. Location, you can find us at 18405 Miramar Parkway. I'll also give you the Instagram. The Instagram is bigcuts_Miramar.
That's how I differentiate between education, true education, and the role that colleges and universities play in as far as careers and finding what you're going to do to provide for your family. Education is totally true education is the complete person, and that's how I look at it. I don't look at the universities and colleges of today as institutions of true education, because they leave out God, they leave out all those other things that help produce the person. You know, when you think about Joseph and his brothers, I'm going biblical. When Joseph was sold into slavery and he was taken into Pharaoh's palace or in the Pharaoh's world, he was able to construct a system to save his brothers and everybody in that region from that 7-year famine and that drought. So I say all that to say what he learned in that true education, God first, and farming, and all different type skills that they taught them so they could be complete people. He was able to use that as a young man to help save, in turn, his whole family and his dad and everybody from a famine, because he instituted a way to farm and how to irrigate the farmland and everything, and water the animals and everything through the things that he was taught in his home school or when he was taught true education. So I just throw that out there so you can always have a little bit of history too, so you can understand what's going on. Now, Ray, I don't know what you. There you go. Let me get off of that. Ray, go ahead on and wake up.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead, Ray. And Ray in the building, and we were just talking about how important is college, just basically. And I went into a spiel on education, and made Rob go to sleep. But now, Rob, Ray, if he want to talk a little bit about that, or if he want to.
Education. How do you do it? I mean, education is important, but it depends on your level of what you want to do in society. I think society right now is building more entrepreneurs than I guess ever before. I don't know. We got to look at the stats on that, but or people are at least conscious enough about trying to be an entrepreneur. So, are you going to get that being in a college? Only certain levels of education or things you could do in a college, that you're going to have a full career, like being a doctor, a lawyer, and getting those, certificates or stamp of approval saying, yeah, this person knows what they're doing. And there are a lot of other things too, teachers as well. But, some people want to do things different. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to keep in mind you're going to incur a debt. So it doesn't make sense to incur that debt, like what Rob was saying earlier, to incur that debt and then don't have the proper employment or proper career to help you pay back that debt. It really don't make sense. So,
but are you really worried about the debt, or are you focused on just at least getting something you want to do? Because a lot of people have debts, even doctors have debts.
Yeah, but they could afford to pay them off eventually. If you got $100,000 debt and you're a school teacher, that's the rest of your life you're gonna be paying for that. That don't make sense. Or you got a criminal justice degree and you got $70,000 debt from school and you got a criminal justice degree and don't even work at the police department. What the hell going on?
Yeah, that makes no sense, man.
You selling oranges.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, man. Pretty much what I did was apprenticeship schools. You know what I mean? So that's something.
That's big.
The trades, they're not promoting the trades. I remember when I was in high school, when we were in high school, we had shop and all that stuff like that. Wood shop, mechanics, all that stuff like that, right? Welding, all that good shit, right? So, but they're not promoting the trades. And right now, there is a shortage of tradesmen. It's a shortage because
everybody running after all those other jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like these kids, they don't want to be no plumber. But when you think about it, we make a lot of money.
Some of them don't want to sell
a lot of money
too.
So they don't want their pants to be hanging down like that where you can see their butt cheeks.
Hey, listen, man, that's a real thing, though, man. That plumber's crack, bro. I don't know what it is, though, but that's a real thing, man.
Don't need some high-waisted pants.
But yeah,
high-waist pants.
Hey, look, it is what it is, but we get paid.
Yeah, you can make some money in the trades, all of them. Right? Yeah, I'm a truck driver. I have my own trucking company, so I understand how you could, you get into it. And so since Ray kind of got the ball rolling with that entrepreneurship, let's talk about the pros and cons of working for somebody first, and then see if we can make a good argument to move from working for somebody to actually owning your own. So I want to get some pros and cons. I want some pros from Rob, and I want some cons from Ray on being an employee.
Well, let me say this. God damn it, damn hat, Kansas City hat, dirty. But anyway, listen. Don't
I
hate,
want
man.
some pros from you
You want pros? All right. So
as an employee, being an employee.
pros as being a employee, right? So, what I had to learn coming up in the trade, coming up in the plumbing trade, I had to learn how to be a employee. I had to learn how to be I guess you could say a follower, because I had to learn how to take instruction. You understand? Because you have to know how to manage somebody else's business first before you can get out there and manage your own. So you have to know that's one of the pros.
Okay.
You know,
all right. That's one of the pros.
Yeah.
Think of your other one. Con. Give me a con, Ray.
Like you said, I think that's important too. You got to
A con.
learn something. But
Say it again. Say it
Give
again.
me a con. Man. Give me a con. A negative about being an employee.
There's plenty, but
Just give me one of them. A good one.
a good one. You get complacent.
Yeah.
You get complacent in that one job, and you're waiting for the gold watch after 25 years of working there or more, or whatever, and you don't want to do anything else. But deep down inside, God put something in you bigger to move mountains in a different direction.
Okay, so basically, you have to. It will benefit you greatly to work for somebody if that's your plan to be an entrepreneur.
That's okay too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We could say that. We could
Of
agree
course.
that it'll benefit you to a certain degree. But like Ray say, you don't want to just sit there complacently, because you're gonna have to step out on faith and go ahead on and make it happen. Because you can't keep sitting there waiting on the other gold watch after you done got the first one. Now you just want to sit there and get gold watches. Now that's another thing about working for somebody. When you think about it, you can you don't have a lot of responsibility. You don't have you don't take everything ain't on you. So you can get to that point and you realize that, and so that can be something that'll keep you from becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay, now this all one day got to be on, this gonna be on me one day, man. I don't have to worry about that. You know, when I went into when I was over the road, it was a good thing because I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I jumped out there and I went over the road, and I could imagine if I was doing that, because I broke a lot of stuff. I bumped into a lot of stuff. I had to learn how the cost was. I had to learn how that big company was watching that fuel for 1,500 trucks across the country, how they had set up designated times for to get fuel. And I didn't understand why they was doing that till I started to look at it and see that they, if the fuel too high in a certain area, they'll say, okay, when you go there, they'll put it in your computer. When you go there, go ahead and only get 12 gallons over there. Get 35 gallons when you get into Alabama. You know, they mapped it all out.
It's a system. They got a system.
They had to learn. They had a system. I learned and I saw how that system was and how they took care of their employees, how they did a lot of stuff. All that helped me now as I plan to get more trucks, and I want to train all my drivers. I want them to understand the big picture of it, so that they don't just be out there blind.
Yeah.
So when you look at being an employee, it has its benefits. Some people, that's all they will be.
Well, a lot of people out here are not going to be entrepreneurs. Let's just keep it honest with each other. We got a lot of worker bees out there, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
You know, there are a lot of people. Think about it. A lot of names right now you don't know who helped build Microsoft. You know, but you only know Bill Gates and Paul Allen and a couple other people. You know, but there are a lot of people behind the scenes that were very, very smart that helped build that organization down to the secretaries. To where it is today. So you know, you're instrumental. But how do you want to be that instrument in life when you're moving? Some people are good with that, and we shouldn't, judge anyone's journey with that. They might be okay with that. And like you said, learning is good. I mean, some people can come out of college and get the degree for that particular thing and still don't know how to implement it or use it to the full extent. So it's good for them to work with somebody first and learn the ropes.
And one of those big things is, you you trapped in working for somebody, and if you have that vision, you had that dream, like I had for so many years, and I kept sticking around, and then I finally had to got pushed out there in a situation. Then I had to make it work. But God was always trying to tell me, if you're going to do that, you have to do it. Now, owning your own business. Give me some pros for owning your own business. As you learned, now you're here. You got to transfer what you learned. Help yourself. Now, what you think when you got your own business now? What are the pros and what are the cons of having your own business?
Well, let me tell you the pros. One of the biggest pros is that you can pretty much dictate your own time, when you want to work and when you don't want to work, right? You really don't have to answer to nobody. I mean, you still have to answer to your customers. Okay?
Yeah.
But for the most part, nobody can fire you.
Yeah, they
You understand? So
You could lose some clients, but
yeah, you could use them. I mean, you could lose some clients, but nobody can fire you from a company that you founded. You know, depending on your corporate structure.
yeah.
You know,
How you structure?
now I will say this: everybody is not built to be a boss. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody is not built to be a boss. Everybody that take a lot of grinding. That take a lot of. I mean, when you a boss, trust me, when you a boss versus a employee, you will put more time. You know, those 40 hours that you was complaining about working.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you own your own company, that's going to translate into 80 hours in 1 week.
Exactly.
You understand? But the thing is, though, when you own your own company and you really passionate about what you do, you won't feel those hours. You understand what I'm saying? So it's you have to have the endurance and the persistence when it comes down to being a boss. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Owning your own. Yeah.
Yeah, when you owning your own company. You know what I mean? So that's what I say.
Yeah, my biggest thing, you know, when you look at those, you can't make no excuses now. You know, you can make them excuses when you're working for the government and doing these things. You can't make all them excuses once you got your own thing. But my biggest thing that I always had dreams about as a pro is your legacy. You could pass it on to your generations. When you work for somebody, you can't pass on what they already set up.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hire your kids. But when you got your own thing, you can set them up and train that and put that desire, put that dream, and continue on your legacy for your generations. That's one of my big things about having your own thing. I'm putting your family in a position where they could take over. Now, my boys don't want to drive no fuel truck. They don't want to do that.
Yeah,
that's intimidating to them. But my whole thing is to set up things so that they could benefit from it and be involved in it in some capacity.
Yeah, you know something that's let's talk about that right there, right? So leaving a legacy to your kids, right? Leaving a legacy for your kids that don't want to work in that business. You understand what I'm saying? So what do you do? How do you leave something to them? And what do you leave to them? I mean, if okay, because I thought about this, right? You know, because my sons, they don't want to do the plumbing thing, right? Just like, you know, your sons don't want to do the trucking, right? So let's say we grow these businesses, right? We got all these employees and we making millions of dollars in these businesses, because it will happen. Okay. So what do we then do with our kids?
The first thing is this is nothing new.
Right.
This has been a dilemma for families since the beginning. This has been a dilemma. And you go. I mean, you go all the way back to Cain and Abel, because one was a gardener and one was a keeper of the sheep.
Yeah, but do you cut them out?
No.
What do you leave them?
Well, of course, you want to leave them, but whether they participate in is this is why from babies you have to be training your children to trust and we having these problems a lot of times is because even though the kid, I can't say that all kids that's raised in that family with you.
He just need a quick answer. You getting deep with it.
Yeah, we gonna leave him something.
Yeah, but you
gonna leave him.
He
something.
needs that answer of yes, you're gonna leave him something.
Yeah.
However, you can't leave him the business because they might run it into the ground because they don't really care about it as much as you do.
They gonna run it
as you did. You know what I mean?
What I would leave my kids is something in terms of like a salary.
Okay.
For every year or something that they'll make.
Right.
Where they could withdraw.
I would leave them a salary. I would not leave them in control of the business. Right.
But you would leave somebody that could share that same vision, passion. That's why you always got to be looking for that.
Right.
That person, that one young person that you see something in them that you can transfer that to them. You're always looking for that, whether it's your own child or not. You would pray to God that your own children you could pass it on.
Yeah. Yeah, but when it comes down to these kids, man, it has to be strategic, and because at the end of the day, we're not going to just cut them out. It's kind of like a lot of the things that we didn't have growing up, right? And some of the things that we had hard, we want to shield them from it. And honestly, we shouldn't shield them from certain things. Mm-mm. You understand what I'm saying? Because look how we turned out. I want
them to walk home from school. I want them to get caught in the rain.
Yeah.
I want them to have to go and drink from the water hose. I want them to have to boo-boo so bad that they boo-boo outside.
That shit ain't gonna work.
Hey, look at man. I want them to deal with that stuff that gonna help build character, make them somebody.
He's telling his life story right now. His life story.
Man, I ain't never boo-boo.
Hey man, boo-booed outside, player, or boo-boo in your pants.
Man, hell no.
The door is locked, man.
Hey, listen, I'm a boo-boo outside. I ain't boo-booing in my pants.
That's
man.
what I'm saying, boo-boo outside. But but the main thing I'm saying is, I always dream about what we talking about to make sure my kids. So I do pray and I ask for wisdom to create something that I can get them involved in. Sit down with them and see if we can transfer some funds and get them into something that they like, that we might have missed out on. Because a lot of times, like I started this here, I'm gonna have to use the funds from trucking to help them into something they really like, and let's cultivate that and let's get them the training and the thing they do so they could be passionate about that for their legacy.
And keep them motivated actually to do something with themselves with that. Maybe if they're not getting the full benefit of the company, and it might be spelled out in the trust later that once they do elevate themselves, then it'll probably do something for them later. But look, I'm not going to quote it 100% right, but one thing on that first movie, the first Wakanda movie, the
Black Panther.
Black Panther. Thank you. That's what I just brain fart.
Because I never saw a Wakanda movie.
Yeah, but okay. And Black Panther film. But you wanted to go to Wakanda though. All y'all Wakanda, everybody doing this and whatever. But the biggest part of that movie right now is when he was talking to his son in the afterlife. And I heard him say,
which is too late, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but he said to him, he said clearly, my job was to prepare you for my death. And I think that every man should actually have that idea and concept in their life. We're supposed to be raising and bringing these kids up. That's why it's important. Statistically, they're saying how, men, not even black, white, whatever, doesn't matter. Men should be in these kids' lives.
But don't think that Reese and them are going to be able to see you when they, and you're going to come to them and talk to them.
No, right, that's why you work. That's why you work on it now.
That's why.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah, you work on it now.
That's what-
I'm just saying in the movie, the actual quote that he said was really good.
And
He
that's
said,
why-
my
yeah,
job
yeah.
is to prepare you for my death.
I like what he said, but not how they set it up because it's misleading.
Why? It's misleading because he's
To make
talking
you
to somebody
think
in
you-
afterlife.
To make you think once your dad gone, he could give you all this information.
Nah.
That ain't gonna happen. We don't believe that.
Yeah, we don't. But at the end of the
But
day,
we want to talk to him now.
we want to talk and learn right now. But when I got from that movie, it wasn't really like it was information that he already knew. They did that for entertainment. Entertainment part was just like, oh, they showing him in the afterlife talking to him, you know, with like African way of the tree and all, whatever. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it was about preparing you for my death. Preparing you for my death.
My job is to do that.
Is to prepare you. Period.
That's what we need to be telling our kids right now. My job is to make sure that you are successful in this life. And that's why I was telling people, you know, my message to people who parents died now, I be saying, you're going to be all right because they prepared you for what you got to go through. They prepared you. My mom and them saw me make it and be successful, so I don't have to be so sad that they gone because they prepared me, and that's what we want to make sure we do. So a lot of good things about that. Huh?
Taught you how to boo-boo outside.
They didn't know about that. If my mom and them would have knew I was doing that, they wouldn't like that. But hey, look, the door was locked. I ain't had no key, so I couldn't have them corn and them hot dogs and stuff from school. Was having that stomach tore up back then. Boy.
That was them baked beans and them hot sauces.
Carrot City Mix.
Remember them baked beans and them hot sauces?
They had that food. So, but I just want to make sure that we understand the list can go on about the benefits and the negative aspects of owning your own business, working for somebody. You get 10 other people and they have a whole lot of different things. Some things they'll say similar, some things they won't. But we know and we understand that there's pros and cons to everything, and you have to look at what's going to work best for you when the time comes. But for sure, if you're talking about that entrepreneurship, you could end up spending a long time doing just that, talking.
And, you know, I want to put a disclaimer out there because at the end of the day, I don't want anyone or any kid or young kid out here to feel like, oh, college is not worth it, because there's a mantra that's going around right now that, oh, college is nothing. It means nothing. But, you know, don't do that to kids that need that higher learning right out of high school. Some people still need to go from high school to college to get that higher learning to help build them to be the entrepreneur. Or some people are just ready right out of high school. Some people are ready in middle school. Who knows? But
like I was saying, you need to specifically go in the fields so that you could work in our community. You can't a long time ago you could just go to college and you could find a college degree and get your job somewhere. It's no longer that. You have to be specific on the field what you're gonna go into, because look what happened. Look what COVID showed us. A lot of people ain't working no more, and a lot of people got degrees, ain't doing nothing. So, but kids definitely want to
the future. If kids are paying attention to the future right now, then they'll know look and see which way technology is going. See which way this is going, so that you know that, all right, I'm going to school now because 5 years from now, I could be in a position.
Science, technology, engineering, math, all that stuff there. Like we always hear from one of those famous YouTubers, which brought all that stuff out, and it's important that you know. But you going into communications, criminal justice, marketing, hairstylist.
They call it STEM or something like that, right?
Yeah, STEM. That's good. That, and then of course, surgeons. You want to go into all that. You want to go into that field. Everybody can't do that.
Yeah,
everybody can't do that.
That's passion. Yeah.
But you can make a decent living, and we talk about making a living and career for yourself. I mean, we can talk about this, and there's a lot of stuff that we need to cover when we talk about it. But the main thing is as we recap with what happened with our what we want to do as fathers, as husbands, what we want to do as citizens. We want to be able to push that over to our families and our kids, that they may be able to understand the importance of what we're talking about. You know, what's the importance of it? And we want to also wish Travis Hunter the best. We want for his recovery, and for the program over there, everything that Dion is doing, we want to wish him the best on that and keep pushing them. And we got to get our merch going for Colorado because we supporting them all the way on down. And Rob, as we wrap up, and Ray, as we wrap up, I just wanted to say what I said earlier about that education and true education from that book, Education by Ellen G. White, which is one of the best books written on education that you can buy. It's called Education by Ellen G. White, and it's online. And I read it a long time ago when I was in the ministry, so I was able to go back to it and grab some nuggets from it. But that's all I got as we wrap up tonight and get everything going. And Ray, Rob, y'all, what y'all got before we get on up out of here?
Well, I just want to do a little promo for the Chief Hall podcast. Yeah, y'all get at us if you got any promos, if you have any commercials. We're gonna shout out your business. You can get the graphics to us. Pretty much that kind of thing. Because we're trying to build this network. And that's pretty much all I got. But like I said, we're trying to build this network. We got we will have a lot of followers, because we all know a lot of people here. So that's pretty much all I got, man.
I'm going to segue into what you just said. Look, I want to give a shout out to all the teachers and everyone out there doing their thing that we know, all the students that are doing well in music and band programs out there that got us to where we are today. So big shout out to all the directors of bands and helpers and band parents and everyone like that. So, and all the kids that are doing right.
Yeah, we got to get Beck on here too, man.
Nope, that's
Beck,
right. We'll do it.
Kermit, we got to get all of them.
Cue the phone.